Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about the highly anticipated film Justice League. I saw this film a week ago, but I've been so incredibly busy this week, I just haven't had the time to talk about it. But I'm kind of glad I've had a week to sort of process it and digest it, because there is quite a lot I want to say about this film. I've talked about it with friends and colleagues, and the reactions that people have had really range on the spectrum. Some people absolutely loved it, some people thought it was absolutely shite, and some people thought it was neither good or bad. It was just middle of the range, or as I like to call it, the meh response. And that's the thing, I wasn't very excited for Justice League. Everything about this film's production just made me think it was going to be absolutely awful. Zack Snyder having to drop out because of a family tragedy, the early footage of the film being deemed unwatchable, and then there were extensive reshoots, and then I saw the trailer and I actually thought it looked dismal, just completely saturated with dodgy special effects and CGI. But then there was a glimmer of hope. Wonder Woman turned out to be a surprise success, meaning that DC were listening to the audience feedback and complaints of the previous DC movies. And then they bring in Joss Whedon, aka the director of DC's biggest rival, The Avengers, to direct the reshoots. If I had faith in anybody to fix this film, it would be the script doctor of Hollywood, Joss Whedon. But sadly, the cancer of this film had already metastasized to too much of this film, and whilst Whedon does his best, he still can't save this film from mediocrity. So, Justice League takes place shortly after the events of Batman vs Superman, and now with Superman gone, the world is vulnerable to the threat of Steppenwolf, who is voiced by Ciarin Hinds. He's currently on a mission to try and gather these three mother boxes, which combined together create this unity, which has the power to transform planets. So Batman, once again played by Ben Affleck, gathers a team of heroes, including Wonder Woman, played by Gaddot, Aquaman, played by Jason Momoa, The Flash, played by Ezra Miller, and Cyborg, played by Ray Fisher. I keep getting stuck on Cyborg. Right. Because he's the most forgettable. Now, I know how defensive DC fans get about their movies, but before you bite my head off and call me a film snob, I'm not saying that Justice League is a bad film. There are elements of it that I actually really enjoyed. I'm merely saying that it's an okay film. And that's just my opinion. As someone who adores cinema, I have to try and be objective and honest. Remember, this is just one bloke's opinion on a movie, and in 200 years we'll all be dead and no one will care. Anybody who knows me knows that I love Joss Whedon, and I will defend his work until the actual alien insects invade our planet. But by the time they had brought him in to fix this film, too much damage had been done. If you'd have popped Albert Einstein on the Titanic after it hit the iceberg, it still would have sunk. But first of all, I will say this about the Justice League. Despite having two directors, the overall consistency of this film is quite solid. Visually, this film looks like a Snyder film, but it has the dialogue of a Whedon film. There are times in this film where you can really hear Joss's voice. Such as The Flash's rant about brunch. It's very much in the same vein as the whole shawarma thing from The Avengers, and you can tell Joss Whedon wrote it. And I chuckled really hard at that scene. And where the film truly succeeds is making you care for the characters. There's a real sense of camaraderie and banter on the team. Ezra Miller is adorable as the Flash. He's never been in a battle before and he just wants some friends. It's as good enough a reason as any to join a superhero team. Jason Momoa's bro dude Aquaman is really lovable, and he's really channeling his inner Matthew McConaughey. Alright! Ray Fisher's Cyborg is arguably the least interesting of the five heroes because his backstory is kind of brushed over and he doesn't get a whole lot of screen time. But, you know, I still cared for him. That's a testament to Ray Fisher's performance. And once again, Wonder Woman is by far the most interesting character in this film. And you want to know why? Because Joss Whedon loves writing strong, powerful women. Although we could have done without the unnecessary boob and arse shots, it just seemed a little bit gratuitous and not very Joss. But here Wonder Woman is nurturing and she's giving other members of the team that push in order to believe in themselves. She was just fantastic. Okay, now let's talk about this film's flaws. You got 20 minutes? So the main problem that this film suffers with is its villain, and this is a recurring problem in the entire DC extended universe. They've never delivered a captivating villain, and yep, I'm including Jared Leto's Joker. Here it feels like they've taken a step back with Steppenwolf. He's just this CGI monster with clunky backstory and motivations. He's a distracting presence on screen, and the special effects for him aren't exactly eye-pleasing. The CGI is so obviously fake, and when you can tell it's not real, that takes you out of the film, and that is just an unforgivable flaw. And that brings me to my next point. Audiences want a film that looks good, and Zack Snyder's hyperactive, explosive visual style, coupled with the excessive green screen action set pieces, makes for a very turgid viewing experience. A lot of the CGI looks incompleted and questionable, And I won't rant about Henry Cavill's mustache that was digitally removed, but yeah, it is problematic in a few scenes. Also, Chris Terrio and Zack Snyder's script has a lot of exposition bombs, which give you heaps of detail in a very short space of time. So all the information that you learn is given to you like super bullet pointed, and it often feels rushed and lacks nuance. Particularly in the scene where Wonder Woman explains the history of Steppenwolf. To summarize, guys, I didn't think Justice League was an absolute train wreck. Is it a step up from Suicide Squad? Yes. Is it better than Wonder Woman? Nope. Is it entertaining? Sure. But then again, cat videos on YouTube are entertaining. Doesn't mean I'm going to call it a masterpiece. But in the end, I did have fun watching the Justice League, and I will watch it again at some point despite its glaring flaws. It's not going to crack my top 10 favourite superhero films. Heck, it won't even crack my top 20 favourite superhero films. But I did enjoy watching the characters come together. There was a good sense of chemistry between the team. There was some humour added, which I thought was brilliant. And because I set my expectations so low, I ended up having an okay time. So it's fun, but flawed. So I'm going to give Justice League a 4.5 out of 10. Just below average, okay? So my quick question for you today, guys, is what did you think of the Justice League? Did you think it was an absolute mess? Or do you think it's a course correction for the DC Extended Universe? Whatever you think, you can let me know in the comment section below, or you can catch me here on Twitter. And of course, if you guys do like my videos, please hit the subscribe button for me, okay? Thanks so much for watching, guys. For more things related to movies, TV, and popcorn culture, I'm Luke Hearfield, and I'll see you next time.